Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special Feature Fridays. My name is Garrett Trott. I'm part of the support team here at Uplifter, and joining me, as always, is the one and only Jackie Kwan. Jackie, how are you doing today?
I am doing all right. And you always say one and only. I think there are more of me somewhere. I found them in the
In
house.
name only, Jackie. Oh,
Oh.
you mean the mini yous? Yes, okay, those exist. Well, today we've got, as I noted, a very special surprise for you. We have a new feature coming out on this Monday, I believe, and it is a big one. It's definitely one that a lot of administrators are going to be very excited for. And of course, it also, well, not of course, but it actually offers some new tools for our end users as well. So your members and your parents and guardians can actually take some actions if you so choose to allow them to.
What is
I
it? What
am
is it, Garrett? What
speaking
is it?
to. I was just about to introduce. I am speaking to our new feature called Auto-Withdrawals. So this brand new feature allows administrators to very quickly withdraw participants and apply adjustments where and when needed. And it also allows you to toggle whether or not you want to allow your end users to be able to do that on their own accord. What?
What?
Oh, that's
Hold on.
nerve-wracking, eh? Hmm?
It does all those things?
It does all those things and more. We're going to learn about it today. And that is exactly why Jackie Kwan is here. So, Jackie, I will let you take it away.
Thanks so much, Garrett. I'm sorry. Kidding aside, I think it's the self-isolation is just driving us a bit
Oh,
crazy,
yeah, we've
isn't
gone
it?
insane. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We don't need our
So,
minds.
so thank you everybody for joining us. As Garrett mentioned, we are very excited about this feature, and this was one of those things that just before Christmas I was thinking, oh, we could pull this together. I think we could really do this, and we just ended up going down a rabbit hole and then building all these wonderful things. And so it's coming out next week. We are aiming for releasing this on Monday, so we're very excited about sharing this with everybody. So let's first talk about what auto withdrawal is. So as you know, that you can, your members can register for classes with Uplifter. And one of the things that, we know administrators often have to do is either switch class, get the child withdrawn because they decided they didn't want to come anymore, or they want to switch to a different class or move. And that withdrawal process is sometimes just a little bit more work than some administrators would like to have to undergo because they're quite busy. So because Uplifter is so flexible in terms of how you can manage your pricing, it has been a challenge for us to build sort of some algorithms in the background that can automatically determine how much it is that you're going to want to possibly refund or credit your member if they actually do withdraw from this class. But I think we've come up with those algorithms, and I'm going to show you how this works. So here I am on an invoice. This invoice is for Alan Smithy, I believe. I'm just going to double check that I'm still logged in as Alan Smithy because I hate when I'm doing a presentation and I'm automatically logged out. So does that happen to you, Garrett,
Happens to me
all the
all the
time?
time.
I know.
Absolutely.
I'm so crazy.
That's my number one go-to to make me feel special during the
Yeah.
moment. Yes.
Yeah. So here I am on an invoice here for one of my fake participants and members, Alan Smithy. And if you scroll down, the one thing that you're going to notice, and this will be for all tiers that are using Uplifter, you're going to see a new icon here beside the withdraw button. And this is how you will be able to trigger auto withdrawals on the invoice edit page. So you'll see here that his daughter, Angela Smithy, had registered for the women's acrobatic class here, and at $135, because there's a little bit of a multi-class discount here that got applied when she registered. So what we're going to do here is typically if Angela was going to withdraw, you would click this withdraw button and then you would add an adjustment and then you would perform a refund. And, there are a couple of different steps involved in order to apply that credit to the member's account. But with this button, you can click this button now. And what we've done is we've put together a number of different ways that you might want to credit this member. And so first of all, we have our first option of applying no adjustment. And maybe that's because you have a policy as a club where you don't provide any refunds. So if you want to withdraw halfway through, too bad, you lose your spot, and you can register for something else, but you don't receive your money back. This option might be a good option if you don't perform a lot of withdrawals anyways, and you want to more manually confirm how it is that credit is going to be applied. So this might be a good option for some of those clubs that still want to manage the costs that's going to be credited back to the members. So a lot of these options will depend on your pricing model with your club and how it is that you have your fees set up for your classes or your sessions. The next option here is a full cost adjustment, which means that if they paid X dollars, so here they paid $135, whatever that is, we're just going to give them a full refund. And this might work in cases where, for example, you're only going to allow withdrawals up until the first day of class. So if you know that that's going to be the case, then you can always offer the full cost adjustment. And this will basically just take the program the program price and automatically just add an adjustment for the $135. Here's where we get into a couple of the more complicated scenarios, and I'm going to walk through them quickly. We will have documentation ready for this so that, wait, Garrett, will we have?
Well, making a lot of promises here, lady. I don't know.
Yes. We will have documentation that provides a little bit more of a description, and not only that, we have provided some formulas here to help describe what it is that we're doing in the background when we actually create these adjustments and apply them. So the first option is our prorated value adjustment, and that means in the cases where you've got proration on for a class, and this is, I know there are a number of clubs that basically set up their program costs, and they've set up proration so that as each week goes by, it automatically drops the class by $10 or $15 or $20, whatever it is that you've set that up for. This is basically how much the class costs today. So if Angela were to withdraw today, this is how much we would refund her for the remaining classes that are available, and because that's how much they would cost. So this is what the prorated value adjustment is it automatically applies an adjustment for the remaining number of classes that are available. The next options are if you as a club employ discounts, and here are the two basic models that we can provide you with an automatic withdrawal for. So the first option here is basically prorated value and reverted discount adjustment. This probably works best if you're a club that offers minimal discounts, like for example, register for 2 programs and you get $10 off of one. This would be used if you have very specific dollar value adjustments that you have with your club, where, and again, this is up to you as a club whether or not you want to do this, where it would take basically the value of how many classes are left. So the number of classes left would cost $68.57. But because this item had a $15 discount on it previously, what it's going to do is it's going to reduce that amount by the $15, which then gives us a adjustment amount of $53.57. So again, this before you sort of select one of these different options in terms of your adjustment, you'll want to make sure that this works in line with the different discounting procedures or policies that you might have as a club in terms of how you're going to be performing refunds and withdrawals. And this last option is called prorated value and proportional adjustment, which does a very similar thing, except that instead of, so we will take our prorated value of how much the remaining classes cost. And then what we're going to do is, we know that here, because they were charged $135 for the originally $150 program, that they were basically given a 10% off discount. So what we're going to do is we're going to reduce the prorated value by 10%. And that's the adjustment that's going to be applied. So you'll notice that when I clicked on this link, this item was selected for me automatically, and that's because I've actually configured this in my settings, and I'm going to show you that in one moment. But let me show you this in action. So as soon as I click on that button and I click OK, what it will do is it will automatically withdraw Angela and automatically apply that adjustment of what I had selected here. We had selected the $61.57, and that automatically gets added. So then the only thing remaining to do on the bottom of the invoice is to perform any refunds or reduce any of your payments based on that. And you'll know how much you need to do that by reviewing that amount here. Now that we've seen how that works on an invoice, let's take a look at how we can actually configure those settings. So here I am under settings and Uplifter settings. And if you scroll down to the site options and go down to the section for automatic withdrawal settings, before this is enabled, you'll see it will look disabled. So we don't enable this on by default. So you as a club, you'll have to make that decision as to whether or not you want to enable these features, and come over to your settings and do that. So initially it will look like this. But what you'll be able to do is basically define what that default withdrawal mode would be. So all of those options that we had just walked through on the invoice edit page, you'll now see here, and you'll be able to select, well, because we don't ever offer discounts, or because we always want to just, refund the full amount, you might want to say, we're always going to do a full cost adjustment or a prorated value adjustment. So, or if you know that you have some percentage discounts and you want to make sure that the discount, or the withdrawals are always managed with that proration and discount proportionally applied to that proration all the time, you might want to select that. So once you've selected a default withdrawal mode, you'll also notice a couple of other options you can actually set up. So this next one here would be how you want to automatically refund members if you as an administrator use one of our auto withdrawal methods, or if your members actually perform this withdrawal on your own. We provide 3 different options. The first option might be, you might be a club that doesn't offer any refunds any time, in which case you always want to provide all of your refunds on gift certificate or on credit on account. So in that case, you might want to select always create gift certificate, or maybe this other option, which I've selected here, which is create a pending gift certificate requiring approval. So this allows you as administrators to have just that second step. So if you're not really sure whether or not you want to grant the refund or you want to go through an approval process, you can certainly select that option. What will happen is, if an auto withdrawal is completed, all of the withdrawal elements will happen. The credit will, the adjustment will appear on the invoice, and then as well, a gift certificate will be generated, but the user won't be able to the member won't be able to use that gift certificate until you as an administrator have approved it, just in case you want to make any adjustments to the withdrawal itself. And then there's also this other option in the middle, the second option in the middle, which is auto process refund where possible before creating a gift certificate. So in those cases where you are primarily doing everything with credit card, and everybody is just doing online registration, and you do want to allow people to have their credit cards refunded immediately, what Uplifter can do is, first of all, basically go through the invoice, see if there's any pending payments, and if there's any pending payments, it will reduce those pending payments. And then if there are any credit card payments that are attached to the transaction, it will then refund those credit card payments. And if there's still anything left over in terms of the adjustment, it will just perform a refund on the gift certificate for the remainder of the balance. So this you'll have to decide as a club, which method you want to offer in terms of refunding your members. As described, you can also check off this box to allow your end members to be able to perform self-serve withdrawals. And then there's this last option here that we've provided as a separate option. I don't know if I would often recommend it, but I do know that we've had the odd club that has asked for this, so we've added this, which is create a separate withdrawal credit invoice. So that would mean that if any credits were to apply because of this adjustment that has been created, and it does result in a refund to the member, what we end up doing is we end up creating a separate invoice altogether and just adding the refund, the adjustment for the item, and then a refund on that new invoice. And you might want to do that as a club so that you can see those refund invoices on a separate invoice, and you can know that those processes were done using a separate method other than editing the invoices. It is a handy tool, but there are a couple of caveats with that, and especially if there are pending payments on the previous invoice. So let's talk about what this looks like in some of our other screens. So now that all of these elements are enabled, not only on the invoice edit page will you be able to access that special menu and have it automatically complete things for you. And actually, before we do that, as a side note, when you're actually looking at your programs, and this is the program that Angela was in before, you can also override a number of those settings within the program itself. So one last thing of note is that with the automatic withdrawal function will not appear unless you've actually specified a withdrawal deadline for the program. So if you haven't been filling in that field in your programs, this won't automatically work. You'll have to go in and update this field. If you allow self-serve withdrawals, this field now indicates the basically the deadline that end users can actually withdraw themselves from a program using the self-serve tool. So you want to fill that out so that we know, how often, at what time you're going to allow members to actually complete this withdrawal. So you can also override all of those settings that we just went over on a per program basis. So it might be that generally you don't want to allow people to self-serve withdraw, but you do have, or you have some programs that you want to do a full adjustment and other programs where you want to do a prorated proportional adjustment. So you have that flexibility to override, and definitely either on the program level, and then as well also override on drop-in levels. So let's say you just want to let people who are dropping in withdraw, but not people who are registered for the full program. So lots of different ways where you can really configure this feature to what you need, and you'll just need to give some thought into how you set that up. And as always with our drop-in features, with the drop-in withdrawal deadline, you can specify a separate drop-in withdrawal deadline time that is relative to the drop-in date. So for example, you can actually put here, I don't want anybody to be able to withdraw up until, or the deadline would be -1 day. So based on the date of the drop-in, it would just stop allowing people to self-serve withdraw just the day before, so that you don't have a lot of class movement on the day that the drop-in occurs. So now that we've looked at the different program settings, let's take a look now we can take a look at what it looks like on the profile. So as an administrator, when you go to a participant's profile, you'll be able to access these auto withdrawal features directly from their participant profile. So for any program that does have auto and a withdraw date set on it, and you've actually enabled the auto withdraw settings, you now have this little icon here, and you'll be able to click on any of these icons to determine what they want to withdraw from. Now you'll see a full list here. If they are actually registered in drop-in classes, you'll see the list of drop-in classes for each of those programs, and you'll also see the last date that they can withdraw to. Now administrators will be able to access this menu all the time, regardless of even if the withdrawal date has actually passed. However, your members themselves, they won't be able to see this once this withdrawal date has elapsed, as it were. So from here, you can actually access these easy, quick withdrawal links. And as well, you'll also be able to access these on the calendar.
Is that the member calendar or the participant calendar?
Well, funny you mentioned that, Garrett, because it would be on both. You can do it on both. So from either the member calendar or the participant calendar, when you actually log in and take a look at your classes, you'll actually be able to see. My computer's a bit slow when I'm running Zoom here. You'll also see the withdraw button as well here from the calendar if the withdrawal is available at that time. So here are all the different places that you can actually see the auto withdrawal button. The one thing of note is when you actually access these withdrawal features from the participant profile or from the calendar, it's going to automatically process that withdrawal and the refund all at once. So let's, should we click the button? Actually, no, we're not going to click the button because I got one more thing I want to show.
Oh, it's like you have something else to present, don't you?
Yeah, I do. So if I'm actually logged in as the member, and I'm going to show you this is what it would look like if you are the member and you want to self-serve. So here I'm logged in as Alan, and even though he is an administrator, I'm logged into his personal account. And as logged in as his personal account, I'm going to go over to Angela's profile. And on Angela's profile, I see these auto withdrawal links, and you'll see that, like I said, as administrators, you'll have access to all of them, but if some of them have elapsed, they won't appear here. So I'm logged in as Alan, and let's self-serve withdraw. So I'm going to click the withdraw now. I sure hope I haven't edited the code on my local instance that would cause this to break. Oh, perfect. It didn't.
Yay.
So in this case here, it says that it completed with the withdrawal from the program, and it offered me a credit of $36.71. So if let's go and take a look, and it'll refresh my screen. Oh, actually, I think it's this. let's take a look. So you might be wondering, I thought that number that she was looking at before was like $61.87. Is that what you're thinking, Garrett? No.
That's all I've been wondering this whole video. I was like,
this whole
what?
video.
Even before you even showed that, I was like, wait a minute.
So if we go into the member's invoice that we were looking at before, you'll see now that the participant has now been withdrawn. The price has been reduced to account for the prorated price. But the other thing that you'll notice here is that, and there's these gift certificates, and I have my gift certificate pending here of the 3671. So I can't quite access it yet because it is pending. But you'll see this invoice here, and you'll wonder, well, what happened here? So let's go take a look as an administrator. So let's refresh this page. So as an administrator, this is the original invoice that we're in, and we were in previously. And this is after Alan, as a member, has withdrawn the participant. You'll see the time that they withdrew, and you'll see the 6171 that we had talked about earlier. But what you'll also see here is when automatic withdrawals are completed, you'll see private notes that are set up by the system so that if the system is doing things for you automatically, you as administrators will see these notes. So here we've added this note that says the participant auto-withdrawn from women's acrobatics, and the pending payments were reduced by $25. So that's why the resulting credit was only $36.71, is because we actually took the pending payments, we removed them because they did owe something on the account, and then we offered the rest of it as a refund here. So now what you can do is, if you as an administrator have looked at this and you're like, yep, I'm good with this, I'm good, they owed us money, and I'm sure that we took off those pending payments, and we really only want to offer that refund as $36.71. To approve the gift certificate, you can very easily just click this button here and post. Alternatively, if you also want to sort of keep an eye on the different gift certificates that are available for approval, you can go to Accounting, Gift Certificates. And from here, you'll also be able to just filter by all the gift certificates that are pending approval. And from here, you can also approve the gift certificate to have that completed as well. So by clicking that just gets completed. I talked for a very long time. Did I miss anything, Garrett?
That's so snazzy. No, I don't believe so. It is a lot to digest, and it's a huge new feature. Usually our new features aren't quite as widespread as this. So as Jackie mentioned, we're going to be having a lot of documentation. We'll have this webinar up for you guys in our Learning Center as well. But overall, I think you've done a wonderful job and captured, at the very least, the core elements, which are important. And so if you guys do have questions or concerns about what's going on with anything, that's exactly what me and my team are here for. So please feel free to reach out to us absolutely anytime. One item of note is this is actually a one-off special option for our Feature Fridays. So we'll be continuing our standard hiatus there for the time being, but we will be coming back with a new webinar series in the future. So keep you guys apprised of that for sure. And of course, last but not least, thank you very much, Jackie. We have the refer and save. So I know it is a bit of a weird time, but there is a bit of a silver lining to all of this, all of the craziness in the world here, is that it gives us a fair bit of time to sort of consider and reflect and look at, making some changes. And if you know a few people out there who are looking at making some changes for their organization, we do have the Refer and Save program, which allows you to refer a club or organization and not only receive a little bit of money for doing so, but they get some dollars off on their bills as well, which is fantastic. A little win-win situation there. So if you do have some friends and some colleagues, by all means, send that out. And other than that, Jackie,
what if I don't have friends?
Well, as long as you have colleagues, is really. Oh man, that's so sad. What a sad way to end this video.
Garrett, are you my friend?
I am, absolutely, yes. There, you have fun at least. Okay. Thank you so much, and I'm so sorry to everyone for the ending of this video. Thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate you taking the time, and we hope to see you soon. Give us a shout anytime. Uplifter Inc. Support at uplifterinc.com. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.